CTV News with Carlyle Fiest.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an update on the World Junior Sexual Assault trial. Crown lawyers have elected not to file an appeal against the 5 former hockey players' acquittals. According to reporting from TSN, the lawyer for Alex Formanton was notified of the decision by the Provincial Attorney General's office today. A spokesperson for the Attorney General has not returned a request for comment. The Crown had 30 days to file an appeal after the July 24th acquittals. Formanton, Michael McLeod, Carter Hart, Dylan Dubé and Cal Foote were each charged with sexual assault related to an investigation into an incident at a London hotel in June 2018 after a Hockey Canada Gala event. ANOVA and the London Abused Women's Centre issued a joint statement tonight condemning the Crown's decision, saying in part it reinforces the same silence and dismissal survivors have faced for generations. A major announcement today at the St. Thomas Battery Plant. 2 construction contracts were awarded today, a significant step toward getting many more shovels in the ground. Brian Bicknell reports.
Work continues on land that will house North America's largest gigafactory. But this sprawling St. Thomas construction site will soon be even busier.
What you can expect to see is a flurry of activity. We'll be pouring concrete for foundations in the upcoming weeks. We'll be building steel columns and all kinds of structural work.
Volkswagen subsidiary PowerCo has announced 2 major contracts for construction of its St. Thomas battery plant. London-based McGill Construction will build the concrete foundations, and Woodbridge-based SteelCon has been tapped for structural steel work.
This is our 3rd gigafactory that we're building. We've launched the one in Germany. We're partway through the one in Valencia, and now this is our 3rd one. So we've really built up a track record that we do build, we will build, and now we're starting to build here. So I think we have a high trust in this market, and we have a high trust in ourselves to get the job done.
Construction includes 32,500 cubic meters of concrete for the foundation and 500,000 square feet of steel formwork. The 2 companies creating several hundred on-site jobs.
That's a lot of construction workers that have to be housed somewhere. So the more local we can do it, the far easier it is on the municipality and the corporation to try and make sure that we can have people on site that are doing this and do it quicker.
Thank you to them, parent company Volkswagen.
The news coming as Premier Ford looks to bolster domestic industries in the face of a trade war with the U.S.
This is going to be the 4th largest building in the world. And then they're going to have their suppliers all behind their main building. It's going to create thousands of jobs.
3,000 direct jobs at the plant. 30,000 jobs across the province. So when you look at the tertiary businesses, the support businesses.
From land clearing to several roundabouts, highway reconstruction, storm drainage ponds, even a rail yard. This site, massive as it is pretty much ready to go. The city now just awaiting a date for groundbreaking.
In my conversation with PowerCo as late as this morning, as soon as these companies can assemble what they need to do and get started, they will now.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
The provincial government announced a $400,000 housing investment in Sarnia today. Lawrence DeLone has more on what the city plans to do with that money to get more homes built.
The Ontario government is rewarding the city of Sarnia with $400,000 through the Building Faster Fund.
2 years ago, our government established the $1.2 billion Building Faster Fund to encourage municipalities to speed up approvals, issue permits, and get shovels in the ground faster.
The province says the program provides funding to municipalities that achieve at least 80% of their provincially designated housing targets.
I want to congratulate Mayor Bradley and his whole team for his leadership in helping get more homes built.
The province says Sarnia beat its 2024 housing target by 128%. And Mayor Mike Bradley says they aren't going to stop there.
This money will be going to help develop the only area that we can expand in the city to the east, Wellington Road, Malden Road area.
Bradley says the $400,000 is groundbreaking for the future of Sarnia.
3,000 housing units can be created out of this money, which is huge, of all sorts of diversity of housing units.
Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing of Ontario, Rob Flack, was also in attendance. He says this announcement is a step in the right direction to address the issue that it costs too much and takes far too long to build homes in Ontario.
We are in the midst of a generational housing crisis, generational, the likes that we've never seen before. Our population has grown significantly. Our housing starts have not kept pace.
Flack says the government recognizes that change is urgently needed, and he hopes the fund will make that change happen.
We are rewarding municipalities who build homes with the funding for infrastructure, because we know that without infrastructure, you cannot build homes, without water access, roads, sewer systems, and more.
The Ontario government is also helping to speed up construction of new homes and infrastructure through the Protect Ontario by Building Faster and Smarter Act 2025. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister and her American counterpart met in person for the first time today, a conversation followed by a phone call between the Prime Minister and the President. With more, here's Judy Trin.
This is the first in-person meeting between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand. The State Department says the two discussed Haiti, Hamas, peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, and countering China. The U.S. trade war wasn't in the readout, but analysts say it likely loomed over the talks.
In Donald Trump's world, everything is linked to everything else. And so if Canada's in a place of disagreement with the U.S. on Ukraine or on Gaza or on Haiti, then that's not something that will be helpful to the negotiations.
An example of this, on July 31st, Trump posted that Canada's intention to recognize a Palestinian state would make it difficult to make a trade deal. A day later, Trump imposed 35% tariffs on Canadian goods not covered under the North American Trade Agreement. Earlier this week, Anand traveled to Finland to meet with Nordic foreign ministers to discuss how to support Ukraine's push for security guarantees. Before the meeting, CTV News asked Anand if U.S. trade tensions put pressure on Canada to align with American interests.
The work that we're doing together is to ensure that the dialogue between our two countries along multiple issues remains open and strong. And thus far, we have had this very strong relationship.
Anand didn't answer questions about the state of trade negotiations, but today, some movement as the Prime Minister spoke to the President. The readout describes their conversations as productive and wide-ranging. They discussed trade challenges and long-term peace and security for Ukraine. The Prime Minister's office says the two leaders agreed to reconvene their conversations. Meanwhile, Carney is planning to travel to Mexico in mid-September to meet with President Claudia Sheinbaum. The two plan to find common ground so they can fight back against Trump's trade war. Judy Trin, CTV News, Washington.
An animal rights organization is demanding St. Joseph's Healthcare commit to rehoming dogs used in laboratory testing immediately. Officials with Animal Justice say hospital leaders still have no concrete plans or timeline for releasing the dogs. Earlier this month, hospital officials announced they were ending all dog testing in London following public backlash and provincial government intervention. According to a report from the Investigative Journalism Bureau, the dogs were subjected to heart attacks lasting up to 3 hours for human cardiac research purposes. A major sewer project got underway in downtown London today, transforming the city's core. The $18 million project will involve tunneling under the Thames River. Pits will be dug on either side of the Thames for a tunnel about 3 meters in length. The project will close down the Ivy Park splash pad and playground. When finished, city officials say it will dramatically increase sewage capacity, opening the door for larger projects in the core. That includes high-rises at King and Rideout, one of which is a projected 53 stories tall. The new sewer link is also expected to reduce overflow impact on the Thames.
We want to accommodate growth. We need that growth. We want people living in our downtown, but we also need to make sure that we're not doing it at the expense of the environment. And this is a really important point to do that so that the sewage leaving the downtown can get across the river without overflowing here at the Forks.
Copper thefts are up across the country, according to Canadian telecom officials. One of the hot spots, a city in southwestern Ontario, where thieves have been particularly prolific. With more from Cambridge, here's Karis Mapp.
According to a release recently published by Bell, the parent company of CTV, copper thefts are up 23% year over year, with over 500 cases this year alone. 63% of those crimes happening in Ontario. Often, thieves will cut telephone wires to strip the increasingly valuable metal.
That's made it a valuable commodity for thieves who, whether it's stealing it from telecommunications networks or electrical utilities or construction sites. They try to take copper and sell it as scrap metal for profit.
Cambridge being named a hotspot for these crimes, specifically the Galt area.
We've seen 75 events so far this year alone, which is quite a bit of activity. That's up from 44 last year. And, I would say nationally, that region is one of the hottest regions in all of Bell territory.
When these wires are cut, they impact not only company operations, but also customer services.
This is a health and safety issue. If people are in trouble and need to call 911 and their services have been knocked out and they cannot contact emergency services.
Rogers seeing a similar surge, noting there have been 14 service interruptions due to vandalism in Waterloo region and surrounding areas in the last year. In an emailed statement to CTV, a Rogers spokesperson said police are engaged when a theft is reported. Waterloo Regional Police say as of August 17th, over 100 cases of scrap metal or wire thefts under $5,000 were reported in Cambridge, and 30 reports have been over $5,000. Most recently, a downed cable line was reported across Avenue Road. Roughly 100 meters of Bell cable had been severed from the utility pole, the suspect making off with 30 feet of copper wire. The estimated cost and damage for the theft exceeding $30,000 in repairs and replacement. Telecommunication giants continue trying to combat the practice.
They're investing millions of dollars in enhanced security, whether it's monitoring with humans, whether it's monitoring using technology. But you have to remember, we've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of kilometers of cables traversing this country. So you can't keep your eyes on all of it.
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Cambridge.
A massage therapy clinic in Exeter is now offering a diagnostic tool for a chronic disease impacting nearly 1 in 10 Canadian women. As Scott Miller reports, it's one of the few sites in the country providing that service, which is not available in the public healthcare system.
A disease that impacts over 1 million Canadians each year may have a new way to be diagnosed.
An ECG would listen to the electrical activity in the heart. This will listen to the electrical activity that is in the small bowel. And it picks up a fingerprint or a very specific frequency of electrical activity that tells us endometriosis is present.
Endometriosis is a chronic inflammatory disease that can lead to pelvic pain, heavy menstrual bleeding, and infertility or subfertility in 7% of Canadian women. It's also very elusive to diagnose, taking upwards of 5 years in Canada for a definitive diagnosis, which typically ends in surgery to try and correct. EndoSure aims to change that.
On average, worldwide, it's 8.6 years to get into surgery and to get diagnosed. This drops it to less than an hour.
Only a handful of clinics offer the new endometriosis diagnostic tool in Canada, but the Exeter Massage Therapy and Integrative Care Clinic is now one of them.
People that live in rural communities don't want to go into big cities. And it's unfortunately that can be a big deterrent of something that could be life-changing for them.
Inspired by the founder of Preventative Healthcare Awareness Month, Margaret Wallace Duffy, Vandenbush also offers OsteoSound REMS bone scans to help clients curious about whether they have osteoporosis or not.
But with one mission in mind, and that's to put the everyday Canadian at the center of their care, to stock their preventative health toolbox, to improve their health esteem so they can better advocate and recognize that they're the most important member of their healthcare team.
While the EndoSure and OsteoSound bone scans are currently only offered in private clinics, Wallace Duffy says they are working to bring both Tier 1 tests to the publicly funded healthcare system. In Exeter, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Country music fans are converging on the village of Luckno this weekend. Crowds attending Music in the Fields are expected to more than quadruple the community's population. The festival is run by the Luckno Kin Club, raising millions of dollars for local and national charities since the festival was founded.
Yeah, 17 years of giving back. This year special, we've hit a milestone of over $2 million donated back to the community, hospital, school, Cystic Fibrosis Canada, Kinsman Title Charity. And the fact that it's a charity event and everybody volunteers their time is really special.
Later on CTV News, an award-worthy cosmic capture, the London stargazer with astronomical ambitions. Strength in the basic materials sector helped Canada's main stock index close higher. The TSX up 177 points. In New York, the Dow fell 153. The Nasdaq dropped 73. The Canadian dollar lost 0.16 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold lost almost $7 an ounce, and oil gained 81 cents a barrel. Police in the Kortha Lakes area have sparked controversy after charging a renter accused of assaulting an intruder who broke into his apartment. Heather Wright has more on the charges and the reaction.
In this town of 22,000 people northeast of Toronto, many here are only talking about two.
I heard, what happened to, Jeremy upstairs, and, from what I understand, someone, broke into his place while he was sleeping, and they attacked him and he defended himself.
It all happened in the unit above Jesse Kalabik's tattoo shop early Monday morning. Police say they were called to this apartment for a report of an altercation. They say the resident, identified in court documents as Jeremy McDonald, woke up and found an intruder in his home. A fight ensued, and the alleged intruder, identified as Michael Kyle Breen, was airlifted to a Toronto hospital with serious injuries.
I think what he did was justified. There's a lot of, controversy going on right now.
The controversy erupted after police charged both men. McDonald faces aggravated assault and assault with a weapon charges. Court documents suggest a knife was involved. Breen faces various charges, including possession of a weapon, break and enter, and failing to comply with probation.
Something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family.
Kortha police, which laid the charges, defended their decision. Under Canadian law, individuals have the right to defend themselves and their property. However, it is important to understand that these rights are not unlimited in Canada. The law requires that any defensive action be proportionate to the threat faced.
We really need to know the details of what happened inside that home.
Defense attorney Joseph Newberger says it's too early to know exactly what happened inside the apartment, and says Canada does have self-defense laws despite the misinformation circulating online.
We do have sufficient self-defense laws that are broad enough that if an individual comes in with a knife or a gun and you are at serious risk of bodily harm or death, you can respond with lethal force.
Court documents show there was an arrest warrant out for Breen, the alleged intruder, at the time of this incident. Once he's released from hospital, he will be held in custody pending a bail hearing. Meanwhile, McDonald will be in court at the end of September. Heather Wright, CTV News, Lindsay, Ontario.
Good evening. Skies are clear. We have sunshine in the forecast for your Friday morning and a nice fresh start to the day. Thanks, Kasha, for this photo of Dougie. What a cutie hanging out on the beach. Fog will develop overnight and first thing tomorrow morning, but will dissipate as we head through the morning hours. But if you are heading out overnight, especially towards sunrise, be careful. Sunshine will carry us through your Friday. I'll have all your forecast details coming up in just a few minutes.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie now, and the sunshine broke through beautifully this afternoon here in London, setting us up for a nice looking weekend tomorrow.
Yeah, looking good. Friday is going to be a perfect day. Temperatures comfortable, low humidity. Daytime highs are going to climb back up into the upper 20s. Today, right on where we should be for this time of year, although it was a slow start with that cloud cover hanging around early. Temperature wise, though, 25 degrees. Overnight, cool and comfortable, 14. 13 in Mount Forest, KW. If you're along the lakeshore of Huron, 15. And near Lake Erie tonight, 16 degrees. Erin is cruising its way slowly up the coast, moving northward, and it will stay well offshore. And you can see the extended cloud field associated with it. It's just massive. High pressure building into the Great Lakes, keeping us clear. Watch for fog overnight and first thing in the morning. And then our next weather system coming in from the northwest with a cold front coming Saturday evening. That front will generate some scattered showers and the possibility of a thunderstorm, and that's what we'll be watching for the weekend. Quickly, I just wanted to show you Erin. It'll weaken to a Category 1 storm over the weekend and then really staying well offshore. We could see some rainfall on the southern tip of Newfoundland, periods of rain as the hurricane cruises on by. The other impacts, of course, will be rip currents, high waves, and some gusty winds, but not a whole lot in the way of rainfall across the rest of the Maritimes. Let's focus in on our cold front coming in for Saturday. You can see some rainfall developing in advance of it. So chance for scattered showers, possibility of a thunderstorm, likely towards northern Huron, Perth, Grey Bruce. You'll get into some storms and possibility of some heavy downpours associated with that front. It'll cruise on through. It'll be out of the area by Sunday, and then to follow a major cool down coming in on Monday. It's going to feel almost fall-like. So sunshine for your Friday. Enjoy this gorgeous day. Light winds heading into the afternoon, 26 degrees. It'll feel like the low 30s. 24, mix of sun and cloud on Saturday evening, a 40% chance of showers. During the day, a 30% chance. Not until Saturday afternoon, Saturday night will we see that start to come up. Sunday back into a mix, cooling to 23, and look at Monday, 18. So we'll deal with off-lake cloud cover. Daytime high Tuesday, mainly cloudy and 19, a mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday and 21, and hitting 24 on Thursday. Morning fog tomorrow, that'll dissipate quite quickly. Full sunshine tomorrow will be a great beach day, 25 degrees. Showers moving in Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening with the potential of a pop-up thunderstorm. But you'll be in and out of rainfall, so this is a lake effect rain. Great Lakes are relatively warm, of course, this time of year. We get some cold air in the upper atmosphere, and that just gets things going. So we'll be dodging a few showers next week as the cooler air comes in, but we will see a day-to-day warming Wednesday through Thursday, and we're back up to 23. Carlyle, that's a wrap. I'll send things back to you.
Thank you, Julie. A rededication ceremony is coming up this weekend in Chatham, Kent for the community's downtown cenotaph. The monument has a history dating back more than a century. Chris Campbell has more on this next chapter.
It's been a landmark in downtown Chatham since after the First World War. Legion President Len Maynard says the cenotaph doesn't just honor soldiers from modern conflicts. The ground it stands on carries history dating back to the War of 1812.
This was the 2.5-hour battle of McGregor Mill back in the 1812 campaign, where the Tecumseh's Brave and some of the militiamen held off Harrison's Kentuckians and the rest of the American forces. A lot of history here, and we're trying to emphasize that.
On Sunday morning, members of Royal Canadian Legion Branch 642 will march from the hall on William Street to the recently revitalized cenotaph, joined by pipers, drummers, and veterans.
This is a milestone in the history of the cenotaph. They had the big parade when they had it. This is a rededication from all the work done to it, and Memorial Square, so it's a big day for all.
That work included new security cameras, fencing it off, and removing all graffiti.
I think it's going to be fantastic, and I hope we get a really good turnout for this event, and keep going.
The service will include wreath laying and a moment to remember those who served and sacrificed, along with a First World War reenactment group.
We've been making a very conscious effort to fix up all cenotaphs in Chatham, Kent, and we're really going to celebrate the one downtown Chatham, which has been there's been a lot of work done on it.
Mayor Darren Caniff says it's a chance for the whole community to pause and reflect.
The last Remembrance Day, there was a record crowd there. It was amazing to see, and I would fully expect that with the nice weather, we're going to have even more people out. And remember, that's what we need to be doing.
This is sacred ground to veterans. And for the veterans that see this kind of dedication going on, work in this area, it just brings it home to the vets.
Organizers call the rare rededication a Lest We Forget event, a reminder that remembrance isn't just about the past, but about keeping history alive for future generations.
Bravo Zulu to the community. They've always been good, and we hope to have a really good parade and educate the public at the same time.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Finally tonight, a local boy and his astronomical dreams. He's won a worldwide contest for a photo he recently captured of the stars above London. With more on his prize-worthy picture and his extraterrestrial ambitions, here's Sean Irvin.
There's this big primary mirror in the back, which will reflect the light.
12-year-old Siddharth Patel has been mesmerized by the stars since he was 5. Toy figures hint at his dreams.
Yeah, I really want to be an astronaut when I grow up because I really love space and I want to be in it too, right?
Now, from the ground, Siddharth has already begun his journey. Using telescopes, he captures high-quality images of celestial delights and posts them on his social media channels.
I'm trying to get the Jupiter or Mars in the field of view of this.
But it is this picture, taken with his mother's smartphone, that has garnered Siddharth worldwide attention in astronomy and photography circles. By manipulating image settings, he caught a passing comet streaking across the galaxy.
And with just the phone, I was really amazed that I could capture the Milky Way in such great detail in the comet.
So awesome, the photo won a People's Choice Award in an online contest by Dark Sky, a group with a mission to protect the planet from light pollution. It's a goal Siddharth shares. His award-winning photo offering perhaps the best example. Siddharth captured it in a rural area 30 kilometers outside of London. Only 1 hour after city light pollution, Kibosh plans to see the same sky with a powerful telescope on his back deck.
So that's why I became a dark advocate, so I can tell more people about this so that they can make a change.
Siddharth's deep passion for deep space is self-driven. In fact, neither of his parents was interested in space until Siddharth's fascination blossomed.
We know that this means a lot to him, so we try to support him.
Though that support comes with hesitation amidst the realization that Siddharth at a young age already has some of the right stuff to achieve his dream of traveling into space.
I'm definitely scared, actually, as a mom.
Yeah, I really think that the astronaut goal is really going to happen.
So really, the sky's the limit for you.
Yeah.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle. Have a good night.